Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing really well. Today we are starting with chapter 6, which is external analysis, and we are going to deal with political and legal factors in here. If you just understand external analysis, it's the complete question analysis. But in that, we are going to do with only the political and legal factors. It's going to be the part of chapter 6 according to the Kaplan material. And even if you take up the BPP text, it's going to be one of the starting chapters where business organization, microeconomics is there, macroeconomics, but more on towards the external factors. That's going to be the part of it. So let's get started with it. I hope that you guys are following up with the previous sessions and you are also able to solve those question and answers, test your understandings of the previous chapters. If you guys are having any doubts, you can put it down in the chat section or in the comment section below. I'll be really happy to look into it and reply you with that. Okay. So let's get started with it right now. See, political system and government policies. Why do businesses need to keep a track on what are the political systems going on? What are the government policies coming up? Do businesses actually need to follow up that what's happening across the country, what's happening across, what are the policies coming out for businesses, for public at large? Do businesses need to follow up? Yes, they need to follow up with that, क्योंकि वो जो पॉलिसीज बना रहे हैं, वो जो गवर्नमेंट के रूल्स रेगुलेशंस आ रहे हैं, that will somehow or the other affect that business. For example, just take it up like the petrol price rise or मतलब price बढ़ रहा है या कम हो रहा है, will that affect the your business? 100% yes, it will affect your business. Then you will say that my business is online, I do not have to go anywhere, there's nothing as such where I need to travel or something, so why will the petrol price affect me? Well, you are living at a place, so you would be requiring some or the other goods to eat, to drink, or to live your life. Now that goods do not get grown just beside you, you need to get it from somewhere, or you don't go get it from somewhere, but at least from somewhere it comes to the nearest shop which is there located at your place. So when you go out there to buy, you would be seeing that the price of those goods is increasing, and the reason being the price of petrol. So somehow, directly, indirectly, the policies, the government policies, political system, external factors affect your business. So do you also need to keep an eye on the business, that how you need to keep an eye on the government policies and the political systems? Yes, you should be keeping. Now let us just understand some political systems in here, the levels of political systems in which an organization needs to keep care, take a look on, or need to make sure that whether we are in line with them or not. So just understand this. Like, first of all, you need to understand what's happening globally, then what's happening nationally in that particular country, and what's happening locally. Three levels. Now, if you just see in here, when we see global, World Trade Organization is there, European Union, European legislation in here, or you can say what's happening across the globe. Like, we can see what are the what are the what I can say, that the prices, the global prices, petrol prices, why have they been increased? The reason being because of the war going on, or the reason being because of these. I cannot say that in those terms, but if you just say that in more broader sense, that there is an unjust, or you can say there's a there's a problem. Just generalize it in a more senses, that there's a problem, there's misunderstanding, there is some people wanting for power but they don't get that power, or they have the power misusing the power. Does that impact, okay, does those things impact your personal life at the ground level? In most cases you won't be seeing that major impact, but if you just see in there, because of that sanctions happening across, the problem happening between Ukraine, Russia, Europe, America, what's happening because of that? Somehow or the other, the prices of the goods is increasing. In the world market, the price of oil is increasing in the world market. Those things which are in demand, which are, basic necessities for life, that prices are increasing. The reason being, there's a, problem going on in there, and because of that, transportation is not possible. The air routes actually changed up. You cannot fly over a particular country because of that. There are many changes happening. So that's one. Another one is like, what are like the lockdown happened. Now when the lockdown happened, we said that, it was like everybody has to be at home. Now when everybody had to be at home, then what was the problem? What happened was the regular supply chain, it went for a jam. The supply chain went on a jam. There was problems in the supply chain, global supply chain. There was a problem. Now when there was a problem globally, then uh, how did they deal with it? Actually, there were many businesses which were actually shut down, and those businesses were shut down which did not have that particular plan to survive, did not have that particular caliber to survive. Those businesses were closed down because of those policies. Then you also need to see what are the national government policies going on. Now national government policies, in the sense, you can say, what is the tax related in here in the country where you're living. Tax in the sense, what is the, like in India, what's the goods service tax, GST. It's a national tax which is to be paid on a regular basis. Maybe you don't pay it on a daily basis, but indirectly you are paying it. And the same goes like, what are the tax slab rates, how is the slab rates changing, how is the impact happening because of that, what are the rules regulations in the country according to the rules and regulations. Like suppose there was a rule in the lockdown, I guess nowadays also it's going on, that if there's a hall, and you should say that what is the capacity of that particular hall in which people can be there. Like suppose 50 or 60 is the maximum capacity of that particular hall, then that many number of people only should be there. There should not be more number of people. Few things which are banned, a few products which are banned, which cannot be sold, few products which are easily saleable. The products which are banned, can you sell it? No, you cannot sell it. If you sell it, that's smuggling again. And if you do that, so then that's a punishable offense in the national, in that particular country. You need to make sure that your business is in line with the national policy. And then the local government, local departments, like suppose you want to go outside, and there's some construction happening at that place, and you cannot go there, you cannot freely move around there. Like right now near my home, there is some excavation happening, some construction happening. Because of that, I cannot take classes on a regular basis. All that noise, sound will be there. So when that sound noise is not there, then I'll be taking it. Now that work which is happening out there, who's doing it? Is it one single person doing it? No, that's for the public. The government is doing it for the public. So it takes time, and you should have, your businesses should have plans so that you are in line with them. Like factories, manufacturing organizations, like it is said that you should have the least environmental waste. Suppose you're having more environmental waste, then your business may not be supported by the government. It cannot, you cannot get that. All right. So there are many other instances which I'm running out right now, but I would always appreciate you guys coming up with any, any example more which you want to add on. So, bilkul kariye. I'm, really looking forward for you guys to participate in it and help me out in these sessions. I hope that you guys are following up कि मैं क्या बताना चाह रहा हूँ आपको, और आप लोग समझ रहे हो। और ये तो मेरे तरफ से आपको बता रहा हूँ मैं। You guys also have the responsibility to go open up the book, open up the material, try reading it, understanding it in your own senses also. And if you're having any doubts, reach out to me for that too. Now, what kind of government policies can affect the organization? Now, what type of things can be there? Suppose I'm into construction, I have a construction firm. So how is the housing policy in there? मतलब अगर आपको कहीं पे घर बनाना है, तो it should have these particular standards set. आप 5 फ्लोर के ऊपर घर नहीं बना सकते, या 3 फ्लोर के ऊपर घर नहीं बना सकते, या फिर there can also be something like at some particular places you cannot construct residential houses, at some places you cannot construct commercial places. So it is respective over there. So government is having a policy, but government is having a particular set of standards that okay, this is the place where you can construct a house, and it should go through a legal mean, and this is a place where you can construct a commercial property, or this is a place where you can do farming. So there are policies behind it, and you need to be following with that. Related with the crime, what are the rules, regulations, which, like, suppose country by country, there are different rules and regulations for different crimes. Like in one country it may be a punishable offense, but in another country it is not a punishable offense. Like money laundering is a punishable offense, but in some countries, like those places where people put in their money a lot, money laundering is not a punishable offense in that particular country. So it changes from country to country. So what type of law is there, you should make sure that your business is not breaking any rule and doing a crime. So overall it should not be doing as such. Then education policy, will that affect your organization? Yes, it will affect the organization. What is the minimum age, minimum education right of a person? Child labor cannot be employed. Child labor cannot be taken into consideration. It may be, in some countries it's like a law, like in India it's a law that child labor should not be promoted, whereas in another country it's not that big a crime. But overall, under humanity, it should not be like pushing child labor as such. Then rules, regulations related to defense, healthcare, energy, environmental, farming, foreign, which we just talked about, which I just said about it in the previous slide. The same stuff. What all are the policies going on about that? Like from where they are going to get the water for farming. How is the government going to use it now? I don't know from where you guys are listening to this, uh, but still, you can take your local place as an example. That how is that running? What is the government policy behind it? What is the environmental policy behind it? So that businesses should be in line with it. So overall, we do not need to get into what is the environmental policy, what is the energy policy, what is the government doing and stuff. The only thing what we are related as accounting business students, what we are related to it is that when we are doing business, when we are operating business, when we are doing this purchase sell of our goods, products, services, we need to make sure that we are not violating any of these stuff. And if suppose there is any benefit given, like suppose the government will give benefit to those organizations which get into manufacturing, want to purchase machinery and stuff, the government will give them some subsidy. Try taking that. So this is what you guys need to know, that you don't violate anything, and if there is any benefit from the government, just take that up. Make sure that you take that up. It should not be like you would be paying everything from your pocket and then you realize that that was a benefit which you we could have taken it from the government. तो ये सब आपको समझना चाहिए, इसीलिए ही ये political factors we are learning it in here. Okay, we are not concerned with what are the rules, regulations and stuff, but how is it affecting the business is our main concern. All right, now just moving forward, like talking about direct legislation and what roles the government policies would be there in relation towards the organizations. Like suppose number one is the employee protection, data protection, health and safety of the employees or the people who are connected with our business, consumer protection, like whatever you are selling, about whatever product and services which you are selling in the market, they should be consumer friendly, and consumers should not be getting any problems because of it. So let us just talk about these stuff, like what government intervention would be there in it, and see in that what we need to take into consideration when we are running a business. So now when we talk about employee protection, the number one problem with the maximum organizations is dismissal of the employee. Now dismissal of the employee on the basis of or on the grounds of that the employee is not performing well, or the employee has lost that particular interest in the organization and does not want to work in the organization. Either way, and he is removed from the organization or he is relieved from the organization, sounds good, sounds well enough. But dismissal based on unfair ground, like dismissal based on personal grudge, dismissal based on biasness based on religion, caste, breed, color, religion, based on these stuff, if suppose a person is being dismissed, then that is an unfair dismissal. Now mostly when like, let me be more a bit specific, that if suppose there's a woman who's working in the organization, and if suppose she is pregnant, she cannot be removed from the organization until unless there is a proper way that because of performance it's fine, but based on that you cannot remove an employee from the organization. These all things will come under unfair dismissal. Now when there is an unfair dismissal, then there would be the government intervention coming in. So you can the employee can go to the court of law, ask for that this has been the problem which I have got from the organization, and I was dismissed based on unfair means. Or there is also a problem like constructive dismissal. Now what is this constructive dismissal? Is that you create an environment around the employee wherein he or she feels suffocated and wants to leave the organization. So you did not formally remove that particular employee, but you made an environment for the employee, and the employee is removed then, or the employee just leaves the organization because the environment was created in such a way that he or she had to leave. That type of stuff, then the employee can go to the court of law, ask for justice of unfair dismissal, or dismissed on the ground of not fair enough. That's what is unfair dismissal. And they can go to the court of law and ask for the justice out there. Then the other one is redundancy. Now redundancy in the sense like that job is no longer required, that work is no longer required. Now when that work is no longer required, then who is going to do that? You are making that employee redundant. So what rules, regulations comes in here is that whenever you are making an employee or a particular job, a particular work, if you as an organization you're making it redundant, then that's a question to ask, that why so low practices is being followed in the organization. But if suppose it is like general risk, or suppose it's a normal thing which has happened, that okay, this project started for this particular month only, and that's why it has been finished, that's why it is over, that is understood. But you say that we are going to take up a project, it's going to be for 5 years, 6 years, and then it is completed before itself, then that's kind of redundancy and a problem, and which can cause a problem to the employee working in that organization. And if so, then if there is any unfair or unjust means happened against the employee, then they can go to the court of law and ask for justice, and they can get that. If you just see in here this particular web series, which is Suits, like a serial, a drama, a movie, a drama, not a movie. It's available on Netflix, Amazon, I guess all everywhere it's there available. If you watch that Suits, I guess in the first or second episode only, there's a case where an employee is dismissed under unfair dismissal, where there's a case of harassment against that employee, and she comes up towards the employee and say that there was harassment happened, and then later on, a couple of months later, they dismissed me based on unfair, telling me that I'm not fit enough for the organization. So it's a really good case how they solve it. Kind of, this is a case almost now and there about unfair dismissal. It's always like that. Relieving an employee for their own betterment in their career, well enough. Releasing an employee at a faster pace without that particular notice period, or in that notice period treating the employee in an ill-mannered way, is not at all good on the organization's part. There will be some personal grudges that you're leaving the organization, you'll go work for someone else, you'll be a competition to us, you will take out all our secrets and all that stuff. These are all shitty things, never going to happen. But still, at organizations, these are there. Now, the next is data protection. Now, data protection, two ways. Number one, data protection is the employee data protection. First of all, that that data of the employee should be secure enough. You should not just reveal it like that. And then the number two is data protection of the consumers who are going to buy stuff from you. That data is also important, and that also is to be protected. It's not just the organizational data, it is also the data of the employee, also the data of the consumer which is going to be there. So these are some legal requirements the organization should follow and protect this type of data in the organization. Have proper controls, have proper physical controls, have proper software controls in place. All right. Then data security also goes in the same manner, that you have proper controls that no person without authorization can enter the organization. There should be proper access controls in place so that the data is properly secured and not available to public at large or public, so that there is any fraud or error, because data is the new place where most of the frauds are happening. So an organization should protect that data, should keep that data secure which they're using. Like suppose nowadays, you know there's a case which is going on a few years back, or nowadays also, that Facebook is using the data of the consumer for someone else. You are talking about something, and you're talking about something, and that particular ad pops up in front of your screen. How did that happen? Someone is hearing you. Now who's that hearing you? Is your mobile phone. Your mobile phone is hearing you, and that microphone is hearing you, and that data is getting recorded and used. Kind of a problem. But what can we do? That you cannot avoid it. Maybe somewhere when you are agreeing to the terms and conditions, you just scroll down and then agree to the terms and conditions. Somewhere or the other, that agreement, that term was there, that you can use that data for your business allies to improve business processes, or can serve you better, can understand you better. Based on those terms, the data would have been shared. Okay. Now, moving forward, health and safety at the workplace. Now, health and safety, you can go from the basic stuff, like suppose, like torn carpets should not be there. There should be proper environment. There should be a proper atmosphere at the environment, at the place where you're working. Proper basic needs should be there for the employee at the place, so that they can work freely. There should be proper safety measures for working employees who are at a hazardous place or a construction site or something like that. There should be proper safety workplace and safety measures taken up there. Even if suppose it's a proper office, there should be proper fire exit area. There should be some what do you call that situation, like if they want to evacuate it in a rapid manner, then there should be a route properly planned for it. Then only organizations will be, or you can say that yes, health and safety measures are taken up properly. Employees should be employees and employers, both should make sure, or should try and promote the atmosphere of taking insurance, of health insurance, safety insurances and stuff, so that you can come over the user type of problems which are there at workplace. The employer should have its own employee compensation fund, so that if suppose there's a problem or something like that, they should be ready with a plan again, to make sure that it is solved. So there should be a plan from the employer also. I hope you guys all are following up with me and understanding what I'm trying to say, understanding what I'm saying. See, I'm trying to explain it in a more general manner. जितना general हो सकता है मैं उतना अच्छे से समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. आप लोग इन सब examples को अपने किसी example में elaborate करिए और उसको अच्छे से सोचिए, ताकि आप लोग को अच्छे से समझ में आए. I'm keeping it in a general manner. You can go further, read that material and understand it, and then go forward towards solving the question and answers. I'll also do a session on solving question and answers, but till then you guys need to follow up like this. Now moving forward is consumer protection. Now, consumer protection, I would say that is the products which you're selling. It should be of that value. Suppose you're selling something for 50,000 rupees. So it should be of that particular value. An iPhone, it is sold in lakhs. It should be of that particular value. It should not be like, you purchase something and you're like, not satisfied with that. So that is against consumer protection. Not organization, the government policies are made in such a way that they protect the consumer, and the consumer should not be fooled. In simple terms, the consumer should not be fooled. Like you say that, okay, this is going to be of a great value, you purchase it, and you will be getting that value, but you don't get that particular value. So that is not right based on what you are serving. So make sure that an organization, or every organization, to make sure that whatever they are selling, whatever they are giving, whether it's a product or a service, they should make sure that the customer is at least satisfied from your side, that there's no problem as such. All right. Then moving forward is simple contracts. In fact, the last point in this particular chapter. Now, simple contracts is like agreements and contracts. Agreements is like two people having the intention to get into legal binding, that they should perform something and there should be a consideration in return. Like consideration means something in return for doing these activities. And if suppose, but that particular activity is not done, they can hold them liable in the court of law. Then it becomes a contract. Legal binding is there, then it's a contract. So you enter into a simple contract that, okay, this is going to be bought, this is going to be sold, and that performance should be done. I hope you guys are understanding in here. Simple contracts are really just like agreements. You are entering into agreement, two parties come together, agree that, okay, we are going to sell this, we are going to buy that. That should be performed. If not performed, then if not performed or something like that, it can be held liable in the court of law. Then it is a particular contract. And that's how businesses should happen. That's how, at least it businesses can happen on good faith, legal term, good faith and stuff, but still these legal things are there always, so that the consumer is protected and people who are entering into agreements, they are protected. Here it is just simple contracts. Later on, when we go further into businesses, for the businesses, we'll also be learning letter of credit and stuff. How if you are in one place and another place, the consumer is at another place, the seller is at another place, how are you going to enter into agreements and stuff? That's there into businesses, like export business, import business. See, overall, how businesses are going to be done, we're going to talk about it here. And if you guys can add up anything from your side, I'll be more than happy for that, to talk about it, to discuss about it and stuff. We'll also try to have more you guys also talking up in the session, in the upcoming sessions, as and when we'll see to it. All right, so I hope that this session is helpful for you. Now that you're following up the session still here, more sessions are on the way and it will be up soon. Financial accounting, we're starting on 20th June. Management accounting, we are starting from 1st of July. So make sure that you follow up. The timings would almost be like these timings only, the video when it's getting live. So I'll see you guys in the next session. If you have any doubts, questions, put it down in the chat section. If you need help in the registration, materials, mock examination and stuff, WhatsApp me and I'll talk to you. Okay. See you guys in the next session. Till then, bye-bye.